misconceptions and confusions will automatically be removed through clarity on this single point. And that is that Islam primarily does not prohibit anything. No thing and no act in this world in its original capacity is prohibited. Nothing is forbidden in its original capacity according to Islam unless contrary is proved. Unless there is a specific provision of Quran or Sunnah, unless there is an express and explicit and a positive provision given by Quran or Sunnah forbidding that particular act or prohibiting that particular act or declaring that particular thing or act to be forbidden and prohibited. Unless there is no specific provision of prohibition, nothing would be considered to be forbidden. Everything would be considered as permissible, as indifferent. It would be your option whether you want to do it or you don't want to, whether you commit it or you omit it, whether you perform it or you abstain from it. It's your free will option, your free consent. A very big option, a very big discretion has been given to the mankind through Islam. And this is the sole characteristic of Islam as a religion. And this condition or this blessing is not available in any other system of law. Islam originally does not declare anything, whether it is eatable, any dress, any item of use, any item of beauty, any item of decoration, any kind of celebration, any activity according to Islam in its original capacity. Its original capacity is permissibility. It is permissible in its original capacity. Nothing is prohibited and forbidden originally. So what happened? Only those things became forbidden and those things and those acts became prohibited which were categorically declared in Quran to be prohibited, or which were categorically declared by Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam through his established hadith and sunnah as forbidden or as disapproved. Only those things which were prohibited expressly, categorically, positively, explicitly, they became forbidden and they were excluded from this original capacity of permissibility. Where everything originally was permissible, mankind was allowed to eat everything except those which were later on declared by the Sharia to be forbidden. This is known as the principle of original permissibility. This is one of the most important and one of the biggest forms and manifestations of mercy of Almighty Allah and mercy of Holy Prophet ﷺ and mercy of the Islam on mankind and on the Muslims, of course. This is in Arabic is known as al-aslu fil ashiya'i al-ibaha and al-aslu fil af'ali al-ibaha. That original capacity of everything is ibaha, permissibility. And original capacity, legal capacity of every act is al-ibaha, permissibility. The reason why I have chosen this aspect, let me explain this reason so that you may vision of a thing and the relevance of this particular subject. In most of the time you see, you celebrate something. Even you celebrate birthdays of your own children. You cut the cakes. You blow the candles. You decorate your house sometimes. Just under the limit of israf and tabzir, not going up to that extent. You celebrate many other items, aspects. You eat many things. You celebrate the birthday of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You celebrate the Mawlidun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You birthday, the various dates or in connection of various saints and awliya and salihin. Then you eat lot many things. Then you wear various kinds of dresses, even the tie and your dresses, your jackets and all your western kind of dresses, everything. You make various styles of your houses. You do certain spiritual acts just as for blessing, for barakah. You don't consider them as fard, as mandatory or compulsory or imperative. You don't consider like that. You perform certain acts just for blessing and barakah. So what happens? Some people ask you, this is haram. This is bid'ah. This is an innovation. This is forbidden. This is haram. Some people say you. And they ask, what is the evidence of the permission for this act? They ask you, where it is written in Quran or Hadith, what is the evidence that you may perform this particular act or you may do this particular practice? So they ask for an evidence. This is the basic problem. So after this discussion, I want to change the direction. Forever, I want you be relaxed in your life. If you are considering any particular act as permissible, if you are considering or practicing any particular act, or you are celebrating any particular day, or any particular event, considering it permissible, allowed, you are not supposed to provide any evidence for that. This is the scheme of the Sharia law. You are absolutely not required. You are absolutely not supposed to provide any kind of evidence on its permissibility, neither from Quran or Sunnah or from the practice of the companions. Absolutely. You are not responsible for that. Then who is responsible? The one who is saying this is haram. He is under an obligation to provide an evidence and dalil from Quran and Sunnah, which dalil should establish that this particular act is haram. This is his responsibility to provide the dalil, to provide an evidence, to provide an authority of being prohibited about that act, to provide an authority of its being forbidden. He is under responsibility, not the performer, not the actor, not the one who believes in its permissibility. Why? Because permissibility of every act, originally, this is its original capacity. Even if you don't have any example from the Sunnah of Holy Prophet, if you don't have any backup authority from any practice of the companion, any reference from Quran, any reference from Hadith, any reference of any book, if you don't have any supporting evidence, any supporting authority in favor of your point of view, even then that act remains permissible unless contrary is proved, unless the objector, the one who is criticizing, the one who is declaring this as bid'ah, as haram, as wrong, unless he provides a categorical and explicit evidence on its prohibition and being forbidden. If he can't provide a dalil from Quran and Hadith on its being prohibited, So he has no right to challenge its permissibility, because original permissibility has been granted by Almighty Allah and Islam. So the Quranic scheme and Islamic scheme of law and Sharia is that Almighty Allah and Holy Prophet and Islam just gives the list of prohibited things and doesn't give any list of permissibles. Whatever is forbidden through Quran and Sunnah would be excluded out. That would be taken out of the ambit of general permissibility. That would be taken away from the purview and from the circle of original permissibility, and accept those things which were categorically prohibited by Quran or Hadith. All remaining items and acts would remain permissible. They will stay with their permissibility.